On the sidewalks, you may never know who you can meet. Hello, family. I'm Victor E. Can you walk with me on the sidewalk? Sometimes life is what you make it.
Hello family out there, this is Victor ETV and I'm doing sidewalk talk at this moment. And you never know the people that I meet on the sidewalk of life. Okay, well today we're here in Montgomery, Alabama at the Armory, the Learning Arts Center, and I have met someone, one of our artists in the community. And they've been doing this for a long time, and I wanted to bring them to my state to meet my people, the people who follow me, and I want to introduce you to her. Here she is, right here beside me today. How are you doing today? This is, and what is your name again?
Anita Reese Hargrove.
Anita Reese Hargrove. Okay, what I usually do is ask about past, present, and future, and so that way you'll get a chance to know this fantastic person here. We have seen her artwork, and you'll get a chance to see it as we're talking here because I run it in our screen behind us, and you'll be able to see all the wonderful work that she has done. And what I especially like about it is she's from Tuskegee. Okay, Tuskegee. Hey, as Mayor Johnny Ford would say, pride of the swift growing South. Okay, so we gotta get started. Tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I'm from Tuskegee.
Okay.
I have shown interest in art since I was 5.
Okay.
I would draw, sketch. And then later on, I graduated from Tuskegee Institute High School in '72.
Okay.
And I came to Alabama State, and I finished in 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I had scholarships to go continue my education in art, but I got married.
Okay.
Had
Okay.
kids.
That'll do it.
I had kids, and just everything just kind of went by the wayside.
Yes.
And I would pick up a brush and paint every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
I did publish one book in 2016, and it's a supernatural thriller, and I did it under the pseudonym R.H.
And what's the name of it?
Under the Blood Moon.
Under the Blood Moon. I'll make sure I put that.
And it's under the pseudonym R.H. Gunn.
Okay.
And I wrote on that book since 2002.
Okay, will they be able to get that book
It's
today?
online.
Okay, fantastic. It's online.
It's supernatural thriller, and
Okay.
and to tell you, I'm an artist, so when I paint not to be perfect. And when I wrote not to be perfect. So there are actually 33 errors intentionally put in that book. Because I'm not a perfectionist, and I don't want to be a perfectionist.
That's going to encourage me to go in and write my books, because it's like a lot of times I back off because I got it. You get so caught up into all the details.
See, I don't want to be a perfection. You know,
Okay.
there is something about being so perfect that, and I went at it as if I were painting. So when I'm painting, I paint like impression of painting. You know, I give you the impression that this is what this is, or this is what that is.
Right.
But you know, I can trick your eye into believing what you see.
Right.
And it still comes out. You know, and if you miss the forest for the trees. So if you focus on any errors, then you're gonna miss the message.
Right.
You know.
Oh, that's
that's
powerful right there.
So I started painting. I mean, I had kids, and kind of everything went by the wayside. And then for years and years and years, and then my husband's grandmother died, and the old home house became my studio. And so some of these paintings were in the studio, and some of the kids would come in, and I taught classes, and then I stopped again. And so it was recently, you know, I kind of gave up painting. You know, I would paint for a while and I gave up, but then when I think it was the one down there with the lake scene.
Okay.
And I spent the summer on that, and I decided it was like there was something inside that had to get out.
You know,
was, and I like capturing family moments, and I like putting them in oil. Because photos fade, and this way it will, and I prefer painting with oil paints. I started out at Alabama State with acrylic, and I hated the smell of turpentine and all of that, but acrylic didn't give me what I needed to work with. So with oils, you give this consistency and this smoothness to paint, and so it didn't dry as fast, so it leaves this richness. So I think when you paint from a, if you get a oil paint.
I had come to the same conclusion that you had come to. I was listening to you speak earlier, and it was something that I've always said now, that the arts are spiritual. And if you're not, I don't care whether you're dancing or whether you're playing music or whether you're painting pictures. These are things that come up out of your soul. You're being a creator. We're in the image of God. We are creators.
It was breath or breathed into us.
Yes.
The moment, people say that, and I tell people when I die, I'm going home. I know I'm going.
Right.
I don't remember home, but the feeling I get when I paint, I know what home is.
Okay.
So it's like, this is what was given to me. You go out and you do this.
Yeah.
So each painting that I do, I question, can I do this? So I picked the brush back up, and I started working on another book. So I put it down when I discovered that I could exhibit in this gallery. So I started painting, and I painted feverishly. My fingers stayed black and blue, and so each one became a part of me, and I hope that whoever sees them will see what I put out, and I give you my heart, my soul, and my spirit.
Yes, that's fantastic. I love it. I love that. Okay, so presently, pick your brush back up now. You're gonna continue this for a while. Where do you see yourself going with this?
I don't know.
Future.
In the future, I'm not so much tech person, but that's my grandson helps me out with that. I still use I don't use a smartphone. I still use a flip phone.
Okay.
I need to buy an iPad, but and everybody says, "How come you gotta get with it?" But I'm finding that the more I get society and the things in society have a tendency to kind of weigh you down. And a lot of people spend a lot of time on the internet, and it's toxic.
You are so right. Last night, and I found this to be, I had to force myself to get off my phone. I was sitting there and I started on Facebook, and that TikTok is something else.
Yeah, I'm not on TikTok.
And the technology of it, and it's always something interesting. As soon as you click off this one, the next one is just as powerful. And it's hard to stop. And I'm sitting here looking, I had started like 1 o'clock. It was almost 4 or 5 o'clock, and I had been on this.
That's where we are drawn away from what we're meant to be.
Yes.
That's what.
And even though I'm learning as I'm going, I'm getting a wealth of knowledge as I'm going through, but it becomes addictive.
It's addictive.
Yes.
And wherever you go, if you're in a doctor's office, I prefer holding a book in my hand.
Yeah.
If wherever you go, there are people sitting there with this, doing this, and I'm thinking, why? Explore something outside of that realm. It was behind the fence, so I called it, but what did I call that? Behind the fence, or something about a fence. I can't remember the name of it, but I wanted to, if you look closely at the fence and what's going on behind, and the house behind that, it's totally different from the house that sits there. And the house that sits there is a log house. It's barely put together, and it's crudely done. And I wanted to show her. I'm not sure of the dress color because it was a black and white, but I painted her in a white dress because I wanted to show attention to the woman, and she was sitting there listening with her husband, and I don't know what she was reading, but I wanted the reader, the viewer, to get some insight into maybe their own idea of what could he be saying, because I didn't name it the ladder or the wheel. I just called it behind the gate, behind the fence. Because that's what went on behind the fence. It was two different lines, it was two different eras. It was a place where blacks were different, and it was where you knew that he was a learned man because he was showing her something. So that one, I kind of fell in love with that one. And the one down at the bottom with the trees, I call that chiconage. The Indians call it the Mountain of Blue Mist. And that's where I went to North Carolina, the mountains, and I took photos of that. And the picture, I kind of veered away from it a little bit after I took it. But it was like, the spirit of that mountain was there all along. So I really like that one. The one with the picture and the flowers, that's actually, I set up a scene in my bathroom. That's my bathroom scene. I took a photo, took a candlelight, and I painted that. So that was from a scene in my bathroom. So sometimes you can do a still, like I used to do with the still lights, take a still life and let you do it. So it was like do a quick sketch, and it would be like you do it, zoom, 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 and just fill it in, and don't think about it. You just start filling in. And sometimes with that one, I stepped away from that one, and then I went back. And then sometimes when I'm stuck on something, I'll look and I'll research and say, okay, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? It's never, it will think, I will research for a couple of days how to do trees, how to do this, and then I'll go back with a fresh eye and then do it. This one, which one is the next one?
You have a scripture on it and flowers on the table.
Oh yeah, that one was from my brother's, well, the bouquet was from my brother's wedding. So I had that bouquet, and that was from the studio. So the flowers are from my brother's wedding. He's no longer married, but that was that. So I used those flowers, and I put the angel actually is from the studio. If y'all remember the studio? She did. The angel is there from the studio. And these here, those were from that with the horse and the white china. That sits in my house. And I just took pictures and said, okay, I'm gonna paint this. So I went around and gathered things. That right there, I don't know if y'all did fruit or not when you were with me. I think you did the fruit. But I had to retrain my eye to do fruit. I had to go back through it. So it was like, then I realized, okay, this is it. So I wanted to make it look like you can actually pick it up and put it in your hands. That's how I wanted to do it. That one was also from the room in my home, but when I painted it, I changed it. It was another blue and white base, but when I painted it, I changed the color. And instead of, if you look at the apples, I didn't pay really a lot of attention to the apples. When I painted those, it was like zoom, 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 zoom. And once I got those colors in there, I didn't want to do anything else to it. I didn't want to add any more details. I liked that the way it was. It was just bare. It gave me the colors I needed, and it was just the highlights, and it was not more detail. And I liked that one. The lemons, I took lemons I got a vase and put a bunch of lemons in them and had a black backdrop and took a photo, and that was the lemons that I did from that. So everything that I do, that was the same way. It was something at home. So it was, and this one right here, that was from another photo that I found at home, my grandfather. So the man in that photo was a little bitty photo about this big. So I had to copy it, scan it in, and then I kind of blew it up a little bit, and then I wondered who this person was, and the person resembled my brother. So it had to have been a grandfather or a great man, or something that's not being put at you or given to you, because a lot of those things are fake.
Yeah.
And it's so
right.
Yeah. But with painting, I can produce, or I can give you an impression of what I see and what I feel, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be.
Wow.
It doesn't have to be. My husband, when I'm painting, and if I'm painting it using the photograph, he'll want to see the photograph. And I said, no, you can't see the photograph, because we're going to get into an argument. Because he's going to say, well, you didn't do it just like this. And that was not my intent to do that. But I want to, I did teach classes, and I'm going to go back to teaching classes, but I want to continue to put work out. And hopefully one day, my work will be discovered. I put things aside. I'll be 70 years old this month.
Wow.
I put things aside. It's my turn to kind of blossom now.
Yes, but that's fantastic. So, at this point, so is there anything that you would like to say in finality of our interview here? Are there any nuggets that you would like to leave with us as an artist that we can pass on to the young artists that are going to see this video? Because a lot of times I'm doing this just to record history so that it'll be here for us.
Okay, as young artists, I have a granddaughter that's 21. Okay. She is a magnificent artist, and she is constant with it. She has a fever for it. And she started a Facebook page. She's all on the internet. She has her own web page. Okay. So she's learning to go where the art is. She's learning to go where they're exhibiting. She's in Atlanta, so she's learning to go here and go there. So it's best to be with your people, the people who express, who you can feed off of, who will tell you you need to be here or you need to be there, and look for each other. That's how you do it, and that's what she's learning to do, and that's what young artists, don't give up. Explore who you are and what you want, and develop your field. If you have a certain talent or you have a certain study, in my case, I studied the masters. You know, I love the old world painters, and that's what I still do. So I'm still gonna study those, but I still gravitate toward new art. And my granddaughter is so good at it. You know, she is amazing, and I see other forms of art and other artists who are doing the same thing. So it's like, I think we'll bring each other up. You know, I don't question any form of art. It's certain, you know, some instances I'm not into erotic art.
Oh yeah, okay.
But other than that, I applaud any form of art.
Yes.
And it's like, if you keep at it, if you keep going, never give up. And at some point, you never know when destiny will find you. And it will find you. You know, it's your destiny for greatness. But just don't give up.
You said something earlier, I noticed you were saying about finding or doing what, I don't know whether you would say the universe, I would say the universe. The universe kind of calls you to what you're supposed to be doing. Yeah, I kind of picked that up.
And see, that's what, no matter how, it's like breathing. If I have not painted since the last 2 weeks, because before I was painting feverishly, you know, trying to get enough out, and I had 3 paintings going on at one time. And now when I wake up in the morning, it's like, before I would wake up and go straight to painting, but now I've not painted, and it's like something's missing. So I'm not doing what I was called to do. So, and that is to paint, and to help others to move on into that other area. You know, it's like, there's a child out there somewhere who was meant to be an artist, who has the capacity to be a great artist, whether it's a painter or a writer or a musician, but it's up to us to carry that child into the light of what they were meant to be.
Fantastic.
We may not make it, we may not achieve greatness, but we may be the ones that give them that second step or that next step to go to develop where they need to become great.
So in other words, we all have a part in it.
We all have
a part in it. Well, fantastic. This has been a wonderful interview. We got a chance to see all of your work. It will be seen on the screen and what have you. And we just want to thank you. We encourage you to continue to do what you're doing, because there are other young artists that are aspiring to just do their work. And it's not about the money. When you say success, and what is success, is just to be able to look back and see that these things came from outside of you. These are things that you created. And we're all in the image of God, so we're all created.
Right, we're all created.
With that said, family out there, I hope you've enjoyed this interview. We just met Miss Anita Hargrove, and we're so thankful to have met you. And I'm asking that you would like, share, and don't forget to become a subscriber to this channel, because I'll be finding other artists you never know who I'll meet on the sidewalk. Peace.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.